What's going on, everybody? The Original Mako back with some more Gunfire Reborn content, and today we have my full review of the game. Now, that being said, first and foremost, a couple of things to go through. I've seen all the comments. I know there's a sound occasionally in the background, a little like a high-pitched thing. I am getting a ground diffuser soon for my mixer. It's because of the audio mixer I have for the 2 PC stream setup. I need a ground diffuser to help diffuse that noise. It's coming. I'm hopefully going to get it soon, and that should fix the issue. I promise. Second of all, check the links in the description as always. Twitch.tv/TheOriginalMako if you want to catch me do some runs live. We're having a lot of fun over there. All the runs are super cool and interesting, so check that out. I'm live Monday through Friday, usually for about anywhere from 4 to like 7 or 8 hours each day. So check it out. Discord as well if you want to hop in there, have some fun conversations, and know exactly when I go live. And then the second YouTube channel, I am currently doing a Pokemon Pearl, Shining Pearl Nuzlocke, the remakes that just came out. If you're interested in that, hop over and check it out. I would really appreciate it. And the Shorts channel is linked as well, where you can see some cool, funny clips. I would also appreciate if you guys went over there and checked that out. That being said, enough shameless self-promotion. Let's get ready to get into my full review of Gunfire now that it is completely out. Since the 1.0 update, I probably have about 20 to 30 hours, which I think, given my other 700 hours that I have, gives me enough background to give it a full review. Things we're going to be talking about: the new character, just characters in general, weapons, the new stage and boss, mods, daily challenges, the whole campaign misunderstanding. And then kind of the future of the game, some things I'd like to see, and so forth. So let's get this party started with the characters. Now that the game is officially fully released, there are 6 total characters. I started playing when there were 2, so it's nice to have all of this variety now. All of the characters feel good in their own right. I know there's different characters for everybody too. A lot of people, like the Tiger's my least favorite character. A lot of people, the Tiger's their favorite character. My favorite character is a tie between the new Porcupine Boy and the Dog Boy, and I'm sure those are some people's least favorite characters. So there's a lot of variability, and people can enjoy, different strokes for different folks, as they say. Each character seems very unique, has their own play style, and I think the character design is really, really good, and they did a good job of having enough variability to make, you can have a lot of different options, to have a lot of different runs, and it doesn't like force you to play a certain way, but definitely leans you towards playing a certain way with each character, which is how any sort of roguelike should have their characters. So, character design I think is really good. Love it, fantastic. I honestly would probably give them like a 9.5, maybe 10 out of 10. I wish they had another character with armor, just because it's a really cool mechanic, but who knows what the future holds. So, 6 characters that all feel really good, and a lot of different ways to play, different for each person, and it can appeal to a bunch of different people. So, I think the character design is fantastic. Next, the weapons. First and foremost, I'd like to say that specifically with this update, that's not the right thing, the 2 new weapons they added for the full release, the Icy Spear and the Mortar, are fantastic. Look at that hit rate, by the way. I'm fucking sick. Great, just amazing. Wait, do they have the exact... Oh, I thought they had the exact same amount of kills for a second. I was like, whoa. They feel great. They work really well. Both very unique, and like I said, they just both feel really good. It's the first time in a while that they've added new weapons where I'm like, okay, every new weapon is just elite. So, love that. But overall, the weapons, I think they did pretty good. I think they kind of fumbled the bag with melee weapons. Having an entire category of weapon that only has 3 weapons, and 2 of them are pretty shit, isn't great. But they have a lot of really, really good options, and once again, a lot of weapons that can help appeal to different play styles. I mean, if you go to my most recent tier list video, and this happens with every tier list video, it's opinion-based. So everybody has different opinions. I get that. But there's a lot of weapons that I put in F or D that people were like, what the fuck is wrong with you? that's just my opinion on the weapon. Some people are like, this is an S tier weapon. I'm like, great, you go then. You keep using it. I'm going to keep using these weapons, and we'll go about our day. But it's good to have that, because that means the weapons are designed well. There are a few that are, you know, I will... There's only one weapon that I would never accept an argument in the positive light for, and that's the Frenzied Shark, because there is no positive for this weapon. But every other weapon seems like somebody somewhere enjoys using it. I still wish they did a lot better on the melee weapons, because I think that could have been a really cool thing, but not going to complain about it too much. It's a little too late for that right now. I love how actually the Angelic Aura is about caught up with our Demon Lore in terms of kills. But I really like the weapon design. I'm going to talk about something more with weapons later, but overall for weapons and variability and stuff, I'd probably give them a 7.5 out of 10 for that category of things. So yeah, a lot of different options, and can just help make each run unique and different, and give you plenty of options to test out on your different runs. Obviously, replayability is a big deal with roguelikes, so having all these types of different weapons, even the not good weapons, gives you a chance to try it and be like, okay, I like this, I don't like this, and then you can run it back, do another whole run, and be like, I like this, I don't like this. A lot of different things to try, and obviously inscriptions make each weapon different each time you get it as well. Like the prism's you're never gonna get the same prism twice. Well, you might, but not often are you gonna get the same prism twice. It'll be a different play style for that weapon, so it's like randomness on top of randomness, replayability on top of replayability. It's a really good design for weapons in the game. So maybe I'll bump it up. Actually, I'll give them an 8 out of 10. The only reason it's not higher is because of the Frenzied Shark, and I think they really fumbled the melee weapons a little bit. But that being said, overall, very good. I guess while we're doing this stuff, we might as well just throw in scrolls too. Once again, it'll be the same. There's something else I want to say about scrolls later, but for now, overall, really good. I like the idea of cursed scrolls, and I like how they play a much bigger part in the game now, that almost every gold chest has an option to get a pretty good benefit, but you have to get a cursed scroll. Once again, I feel like there's enough variability in the cursed scrolls to make that a good option. And then obviously, you know, there's 148 total scrolls, so a lot of different scrolls you can see each run, like a lot. And same thing, having this many different scrolls means you're going to have a different run every single time. I've never ever in my 750 hours of game time had the exact same run 2 times in a row, ever for that matter. So each run will be different in some way, and there's a lot of different interactions that you can find as you're going through each run. I mean, each one of these scrolls interacts differently with all sorts of other scrolls. They added a decent amount of new scrolls that I think were better than some of the other scrolls they've added, like these lazy scrolls that I'm still pissed about. But the new scrolls they added this time are really good, and I like it. I like it a lot. I feel like most of them are fairly balanced, except for Spirit Feline and Reincarnation. But I like it. I like these a lot. The scrolls, I think, are, once again, just another tier of replayability that makes the game fun and exciting. And I'd probably give their scrolls like a 9 out of 10. I'd give them a 10 out of 10 if these scrolls didn't exist, but these two really pissed me off for reasons I've talked about in the past. I just think it was really lazy design. But, yeah, I guess, okay, we're doing a whole review, so we'll talk about enemies. We're going to go a little lower on the enemy tier list, okay? We're going to give enemies like probably about a 6 out of 10 for design. I think they look decent. Unfortunately, none of the bosses to me look super, or even the elites, look super cool and exciting, except for the most recent one. I think this is a just sick boss design, and the cape, the glowing effects, you know, the armor, everything about this guy looks just sick. As opposed to, I mean, this is just a thin snake boy. We have just a stone golem, a fucking pirate ship. This one's Uwu's kind of cool. But something about the new one just makes him seem so much cooler than a lot of the other enemies. And don't even get me started on this boss design. What a god awful enemy design that is. And then other enemies as well. You know, I just think some things are a little bit not balanced correctly. I don't think bandit retainers are balanced correctly. Tacticians are fine. Longbowmen, just the tracking in the game seems a little bit annoying. Elite Spearman is not as bad as he used to be, but still very annoying. The Elite Arsonist, I think, moves way too fast. There are just some enemies that don't feel great. Now, in terms of the new area, because I guess that's one of the things I want to talk about was the whole new area. It's hard to give those any sort of rating because every time I've made it to the new area so far, when I'm in a room, I barely even have time to see enemies because I'm just killing them so quick or I'm just dying so fast. But the new area does seem pretty good with the enemies. This enemy design is sick. But yeah, in terms of like balance and stuff, I think the balance is a little off with enemies. Immortal as an enemy type, especially with like bombers and lanterns and stuff, just doesn't really seem like there's no way to really dodge that or get around it, and can seem really frustrating sometimes because I've died a lot of times in this game and thought to myself, there's nothing I could have done better there. There's literally just nothing I could have done. So yeah, the only props I will give them, like big props, is they have 69 characters exactly, and that's the haha funny sex number. So at least they did something there. But I think enemies aren't great. They're not bad, but they're not great designs for enemies. So that's where I'll have enemies. In terms of the entire new area as a whole, I really like the design of it. I think it looks fantastic. Like I said, I think the enemies are decent in the new area. The new final boss is cool. I wish he was a little more difficult for a final boss. The DPS check is nice because it is a little bit difficult. But I just wish the overall fight was maybe a little bit harder. And maybe it was just a little bit easier for me because I have 700 hours in the game. Let me know, some of the newer players, if you have found the new boss to be difficult or not. But I still, honest to God, think the Wind God is a final boss. The Wind God is harder than the new final boss. The Wind God is stupid. I hate it. And I want him to fall into a pit somewhere. So that's it for enemies. Like I said, I'll probably give it like a 5 or 6 out of 10 for that. And then the next thing I want to talk about is the first thing that I want them to do post 1.0 launch. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But this could make a huge difference in the game's lifetime. So they already said, and I'll talk about this more in the future, but they might do DLCs, they said. Maybe. Add more content, we'll see. If they add mod capabilities to the game, if they let the community make content for them, let the community mod the game, this game's lifespan gets infinitely larger than it is. Let's say they decide not to do DLCs. No more content, game's fully released, this is it. Without mods, give it a few months, game will die off. With mods, the player count will stay significantly higher than without it, and I'd bet every dime I've ever made in my life on that, because having just community-made content for a game that has a decent size, I'm sure there's a lot of people that play this game that are really, really talented modders. I mean, I literally do not see a reason not to. So I'm not going to rant too long about this in the review, but modding should be a thing in this game, and there's just no way to convince me otherwise. It's just really simple. Modding should be in the game, and they should let the community be able to make content for the game. Sorry. Next, daily challenges. Now, this is another thing I could easily rant about, but if we look at some daily challenges, woohoo, elemental world, special effects, yeah, ha, 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 ha. I refuse to do daily challenges. Why? What's the point? Once you've done one, there's no reason to ever do it again. Like, yeah, you could do each one of them once, and it'd be a different experience every time. But once Elemental World comes back as the daily challenge, what the hell's the point of doing it again? There's no leaderboard. There's no even like internal point system for your own account. Like maybe you can't see everybody else's score, but you have your own score for each daily challenge, which means you have something to try to beat every time. There is no reason for it. And yeah, it provides a little bit of a different thing, I guess, if you want a little break from the normal game mode. But this is another thing I think could really, really change this game, is having a really good not main game mode. If you look at other roguelikes, Risk of Rain has really good not main run game modes. Ziggurat 2, that I just did a video on, has the endless waves. It has the endless, version of the actual mode, right? It's got different things you can do that have a purpose or reason, or I guess more replayability than the daily challenges do in Gunfire Reborn. So yeah, daily challenges just aren't it right now, and they didn't do anything to fix it. They, I guess, made it so you could get soul essence in daily challenges now, which is a good thing, I suppose. Still doesn't change the fact that I will not do daily challenges until, if something like that is ever changed, I don't know. But that's what I want to see from the developers. So next up, if we look at, I'm not going to go back, but a lot of people were confused because it said there was going to be like a campaign or like a main, a campaign, I guess is what was said. And that was, from what I understand, that was a mistranslation. It's just a, more fleshed out tutorial and some voice lines between some of the characters. It's not like a full-blown campaign like you see in Ziggurat 2. It is a just fleshed out tutorial with a little more voice line and just slightly more story than there was before. So that's why there was no campaign. Some people had asked me about that in Twitch and in comments, so I was like, yeah, I'll just say it here, which I'm okay with. I mean, like the campaign in Ziggurat 2 is kind of cool, I guess, but I don't think roguelikes need a campaign necessarily to be a good roguelike. So the fact there's no main campaign is nothing too big for me. The next thing is, and this is what I was going to talk about with weapons and scrolls, I'd like to see them add either some sort of rotation or some sort of like sunsetting to weapons and scrolls, because I think a rotation would probably be the better way to do it. Like during each day, there's a new rotation of, out of the 48 weapons, let's say 40 weapons that can drop instead of 48, just to slightly lower the overall pool of total items in the game that you can find. Because especially with scrolls right now, I'm finding it very hard. There are some scrolls that can like make or break runs, and I'm finding it very hard to find some scrolls sometimes. And it's tough because you go through a whole run and you're like, oh, I can't believe how broken this would be if I only found that one scroll. The one I'm thinking of specifically right now is, if you guys saw my Reincarnation 8 in under 40 minutes video, it was a pretty broken run, but I would have given probably 3 or 4 of my toes, depends on the day how many toes I'd give, to find Rich's privileges. Every time your skill deals damage, it will inflict additional skill damage based on how much copper you currently own. I had so much gold in that run, so much copper in that run. This would have made it could have made this so much of a better run. But you know how often I've seen this? I've seen this maybe twice in my runs since the game came out. Advanced Depot I've seen maybe once since the full version was released. Skill Bible I think once or twice. Penetration Bullet I have yet to see. Like, there are a Hawkeye sight I don't think I've seen in the full release. There are so many scrolls in the game that it's just hard to find some perfect, synergy pieces sometimes. So I wish there would be some sort of rotation, or if they add more new content, I wish they would sunset some stuff, specifically the Frenzied Shark and some of the scrolls that I find very useless, like Sanguine Relic has very, 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 very few good uses. It does have some, but very few. So that's just something I wish they would do. It's good to have so many different options for so many different interactions, but people got to be able to get their, synergy pieces to have those broken and busted runs and make it super fun. You don't want those every run, I get that, but you want those often enough to make it super exciting. So that's just something I'd like to see. I know some people will probably be like, "What? That's the stupidest fucking thing. Are you dumb?" And it's just my opinion. And then the last thing I want to talk about is just the future of Gunfire Reborn. They said that they might do additional DLCs. They don't know yet. There's no official word on that. I know I sent them a message on Twitter about, hey, it was a couple months ago, but I was like, what do you think about mods? And they were like, yeah, well, all our focus is on the 1.0 right now. Maybe we'll consider it after, which was, to me, maybe I'll say something again, but they're probably not planning on it. Which, I hope a Gunfire developer sees this and just please think about it. Like, your game will live infinitely longer with mods, and I promise you that. I really do. It's good for players, content creators. It's good for you guys if you do want to do DLCs, because there's no rush to get the new content out because the community is making some content for you. So I just hope you would consider it. And then obviously for me as a content creator of this game, if there is more content coming out, obviously we'll keep this party rolling for as long as we can. But if there's no additional content and mods never come out for this game, then there's only so long we can get content for Gunfire. There's only so many different challenges we can do. There's only so many different synergies we can do that we haven't done before. I'd like to possibly get, maybe I'll look in the reach out in the Gunfire Discord, but I'd like to maybe start getting a group of people who do content on this game regularly, and maybe see if they want to, every once in a while record together and get some cool challenges to do. Like, there are a lot of individual challenges you can do, but there's also pretty cool challenges you could do in a group that could be fun. And, getting different people's heads together to come up with challenges is always a good idea. So, we'll go as long as we can with this game, but if there's no additional content and no mods, we can only go so long. Risk of Rain 2 has a big update coming soon that I'm going to be sticking by the progress of that. And a lot of other new roguelikes coming out soon that I'm interested in. So, regardless, though, still a lot of Gunfire content to come out. We haven't even scratched the surface of 1.0 content, so plenty of that's still coming. I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts on the future of the game. But overall, if you're watching this to decide if you want to buy it or not, buy it. You'll get plenty of hours out of it. If you enjoy FPSs, buy it. If you enjoy roguelikes, buy it. It does really good at both categories. The game feels smooth and fleshed out, and there's plenty of hours of content for you in this game. And I just think it's a really, really cool game that you wouldn't want to miss out on, especially for cheap price. You'll get your money's worth. I guarantee you'll get your money's worth out of this game. So that's my full review of Gunfire now that it is officially out, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like I said, plenty more content coming soon, so hit that subscribe button. If you're a fan of FPSs, roguelikes, or funny, attractive guys like me, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. Follow Twitch, check the links in the description. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I love each and every one of your faces, and I will catch you all in the next video.